What's up, everybody? We're a podcast. That's right, the thing that's incredibly popular right now for circumstances outside of our human, you know, it's out of our hands. Whose hands is it in? It's in someone's hands, but we're podcasting now. You know, there's several different things you can do as a millennial or younger. You could suddenly become a mediocre baker like I have, or you could begin podcasting, which unfortunately I have already been doing and cannot escape this. So, welcome, one and all, to Paramecia Fancast, a One Piece Fancast, where we review the latest chapter of One Piece, have a different One Piece related discussion every single week. My name is Franz.
My name is John.
And we have a break week, which means no chapter. But in lieu of that, we brought you not one, but two guests.
Two guests.
Two lovely guests. So guess if you may.
One lovely guest and one guest that's just me, Joel, from the King of the What Now pod.
I wasn't sure where that was going at first. I was sitting here like, am I the lovely guest? Hi, I'm Kat. I am the co-host / ghost of the King of the What Now podcast. We discuss One Piece from the very beginning, not current stuff like you guys. Thank you for having us on.
No, thank you for coming on. Jeez.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
I just need to say, during these troubled times...
Yeah.
Allowed to, I know YouTubers are trying to avoid saying it outright, but I don't know about podcasters, you know?
So we upload our episodes to YouTube. I don't know if
these
YouTube's got like an algorithm where they hear the word.
I think, what was it last week? Last week I used the code word. It was like co-optional video 18+1. That's how I referred to it.
Oh gosh, the Game Grumps have been referring to it as the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Awesome.
With the Backstreet Boys reunion tour disrupting all of our lives, we're just glad to be able to talk to some people.
And if I can just jump in, another great thing about being a guest on this podcast is I can spoil things. I can talk about Jinbei. I can talk about Akainu, people that we haven't met, where we are in the podcast. It's great.
Yeah, we had a great discussion before.
Yeah. I was listening to the last episode you guys did, the episode 24, like right at the end of like Ine's lobby, and I had a hunch. My observation hockey, I had a hunch. I was like, I think they're caught up, because you had talked about something like, you had talked about the Yonko, and the way you worded it was like, and we'll get to them a little bit later. And I was like, it was so cheeky. I was like, they have to know.
Originally, we had a third co-host who had never seen the series, and so we liked to sometimes ask him leading questions about like, what do you think this could mean? But now it's just us, so we still ask those questions and then kind of giggle because we know what it means.
It's the whole bit of like giggling back and forth, like, I know the answer, but I can't tell you.
I mean, we can talk about how Arlong comes back and kills Nami, right? Like, that's just a thing that we can now discuss.
Dude. Honestly, the Arlong murder arc was... I didn't think Oda would go that far, honestly.
But you know what? I'm really glad he did that, because in that same arc, we finally learn how Brook gets his skin back.
Yeah, of course.
He takes Nami's.
Just skin. Yeah.
Oh my god.
After Arlong eats only the inside part of Nami.
Yeah, welcome
And the
to
bones.
the Five Nights at Freddy's arc. Jeez.
Okay, I think we actually somehow accidentally started reviewing Chainsaw Man. So...
And so the demon no demon. Oh man. So I'm glad that you're with us for this lovely ride, and we're giving you this outlet to really express yourselves about the series as a whole. But first, let's get into how the heck you started this ding-dong wild ride that is 950 some chapters long.
I don't actually remember when I got into it, like high school-ish, when it was on Toonami at the time. but I don't know if there was a specific episode that made me go, I have to watch this, or if I just watched everything on TV when I was that age.
Yeah.
But I mean, once we got introduced to the revolutionaries and the Yonko and the world government and like the bigger plot, I knew I was hooked. So I've just been a faithful reader and watcher ever since.
One of my earliest memories of One Piece, with Joel specifically, is him sitting on his bed in college watching part of the Fishman Island arc and muttering, "This is bullshit. This is such bullshit. This fight took only a panel in the manga. Why is it taking so long in the anime?" But when we met, he was very into One Piece, and he asked me if I'd heard of it, and I went, yeah, that was that weird show on 4Kids, right? With the rap?
Yup.
And it was the show with the Buttman on it, wasn't it? And I went, I don't know what you're talking about,
Yep,
Buttman.
I got it mixed up with Ultimate Muscle, which was on 4Kids at the same time.
Which are related in this crazy twist of fate with Panda Man, but yeah.
Yes. But so Joel started showing me clips. He was like, you don't have to watch One Piece. Just check out this clip. This is really cool. And check out this fight scene. This is an AMV I really like. And eventually I was like, okay, I'm kind of invested. So I started looking up clips on my own on YouTube. And then I'd tell Joel, I was like, oh, I saw this scene with Zoro. And he went, no, that's a spoiler. You can't watch that. And so he had me start the series from the very beginning. And as I like to tell people, it took us 7 years to get me fully caught up, and then we got married.
Nice.
That was the test she had to pass, was could she catch up on the One Piece manga?
Was it at that specific moment too, like oh my god, Joel, like you burst into the room, like I just caught up with One Piece, immediately on one knee. I've been waiting for this specific moment.
I think we got engaged right before we finished Dressrosa, and then we were caught up to where the anime was and switched to the manga.
Okay. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Joel started reading the manga at Thriller Bark, I believe.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
But I am only whole cake through current for the manga.
Okay,
See,
okay.
I'm glad that you took... Part of me is truly glad that you took 7 years to catch up.
This fucking guy.
Like, as listeners know, I caught up in almost 7 days.
What?
Wow.
From start to Dressrosa. It took me 10 days, I believe.
It was 10 days. We were still in college. I think
both of us were in college.
Yeah, it was one of my last years in college, and you were still in college.
It was like my sophomore year or something.
And it was like our spring break. Fucking Franz comes in. At the time, we weren't using... I forget what we were using. It wasn't Discord.
Raid call.
It was like this weird, like, Russian, like game voice program. But he comes in, and he's like, dude, we had been reading, like, One Piece and, like, Naruto and stuff week to week. And Franz comes in, and they're like, dude, I'm going to start reading One Piece from the start. And we're like, all right. Like, tell us how long it takes. Yeah. Tell us how long it takes you. And then, like, for the next 7 days, like, they wouldn't get on raid call. They wouldn't get in voice chat. We would just get periodic updates. Wow, Arlong's a dick. Wow, I love Laboon. Wow, like, all these updates. And then finally, like, there was a day where they joined voice chat, and we were like, yo, what's up, Franz? Yeah, Are you reading One Piece right now? Yeah, I'm like almost finished. I'm like almost caught up. I'm like 10 chapters away.
Amazing. See, getting caught up on the manga in 10 days, I think makes a little more sense to me than getting caught up in the anime in 10 days, because I think at this point there's more than 10 days worth of anime time.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, you'd have to, like, sit down, like, clamp your eyes open and just, like...
Some Clockwork Orange stuff.
No lie, one guy on Facebook, he set up 4 monitors and he played 4 episodes at a time and fast forwarded through anything that looked like filler. Which to me feels like the wrong way to watch One Piece, but however you get caught up is valid, I guess.
I can feel the JoJo onomatopoeia that coming from that. Just your description, I can feel the menacing JoJo presence. Like, that I'm afraid of that.
What kind of panopticon kind of thing like is this person operating?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Jesus Christ.
One Piece fans really do go absolutely hard.
Mhm.
Sure.
My god. Speaking of going hard, what is your opinions of this recent arc and where we're going?
So this arc has been a lot. I feel like there's like a lot of really isolated moments of really extreme hype, and then it's just waiting to get to the next moment.
Yeah,
I will. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just because I can agree with that. I like the stuff in between, but I can definitely see like the contrast between the really high moments and some of the other moments is like very visible.
Oh yeah, I've had a good time every week. It's just interesting how hype the hype moments are. What were you gonna say, Joel?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the low moments or the slow moments, I guess, do feel like they drag on forever. But I'm just super excited for where it's going, and I see the potential. You know, a lot of people think that this is gonna be like Marineford 2.0, and I'm here for that. I want to see a 14-way clash where some people are actually dethroned or whatever.
Yeah, well, and every time I sit down to read the new chapter, I think I see this flashing neon sign in my mind that's like Oda said this was going to be even bigger and badder than Marineford. So I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And
then
Yonko
Jinbei comes in holding the broken handbrake for the hype train. Hey!
Yes, that was last week that he rejoined the crew finally, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you guys
our
feel
little
about
fishy
that?
Boy. He's finally back. Our little fishy boy is back.
God. We're just off the chain, completely excited for like we've been like not betting on it, but like at the end of like each episode we've been like over under what's the chance that Jinbei comes back next week. And so like we started like being like maybe later or whatnot. We started not losing hope but trying to be realistic about it. And then out of nowhere he comes in and we just we were bouncing off the walls.
I think there was a lot. I think we might have only said his actual name, Jinbei, like once, and every time it was like, our fishy little boy, our rotund fishy boy. Yes. God, look at how rotund he is.
Oh man, I remember when I found out that Jinbei was based on a whale shark, I was like, well, that's my favorite kind of shark, so now I have no choice but to stan.
See, that's how my wife is as well. And like she hears it because there's that Sanrio character called Jinbei-san, which is just a cute little whale shark. And so whenever I say Jinbei, like, and in the same room as her, she'll be like, Jinbei-san? And I'm like, the One Piece
other
one.
Jinbei-san.
The one
Also
with the
somehow
punches.
cute, but not in the Sanrio way. And it's like kind of motivating her to like continue reading. She's stuck in Fisherman Island right now. Because she reads in spurts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
To go back to the people who, binge it like crazy, more power to those people, but I personally need a break every time I try to power through, 40 episodes or 40 chapters of something.
Well,
You're telling me.
The way I always think of it too is when this was being released, it's released in a weekly format. So they made it with the intention that you would enjoy it that way. So if you binge a whole bunch of it, then you're not getting like the room to breathe that everybody else got.
Yeah.
Wow, shots fired at our gracious hosts. You come into the show and you just go, no.
Sorry, no, that's not what I meant.
I will admit.
You come into my house. You dare come into my house and shoot shots at me.
No, like what I did was a fool's gambit for fucking sure. Because oh boy, howdy! The only person insane enough to do that as well that I like know personally has been our good friend Victoria. She's like,
oh my god, yes,
dude. It took her like marginally longer. It took her like 12 days or something. But she was also like ramping up for med school.
Yeah.
So she was doing like
it was the
LSAT's
opposite.
the lawyer one, the medical one.
MCAT.
And yeah, she was
MCAT.
like studying for MCAT and binging One Piece, not reading it.
Yeah,
And
it was the opposite. For you, it was like, are you okay? Like, how is One Piece? For her, it was like, stop reading One Piece and study for your MCAT.
What I'm hearing is that she took all of her anxiety about studying for the MCAT and she just put all of that into binging One Piece. Like, if I can finish this one show, I will have control over my life.
No, see, here's what I'm taking away from it. One Piece is an excellent study guide for the MCAT. Everyone go out and start using
True. We neglected to mention she had only ever read the Chopper chapters, which was odd at the time, but looking back at it now, I think it all makes sense.
So she now knows how to cure gigantism caused specifically by poisons, and only
Poison
specifically
candy.
by poisons.
Yeah, poisoned candy.
Perfect.
And also how to kill someone's father.
It's the power of love.
Yeah.
The power of the love will kill your father.
Exactly. Oh man. So with this whole wildness that is One Piece, and especially this arc, Jeez Louise, what kind of like grounded theories do y'all have? Because that's like something we do on our show, since we do week by week and we're like on the same page as the whole community. We like talk about theories, and then sometimes we get, we're very humble about it. And then sometimes
that's a nice way to put it.
We sit down and we're saying the 7 moons of the One Piece universe, one will collide into the other, and then we'll only have three moons, and then it will be Bionicles, and then
Don't even get me started on the space stuff that's gonna go down in One Piece.
Oh my god, yes.
Wano
we'll get you started, but for now,
We're gonna get you started. Don't worry.
what are your, like,
Joel.
Oh, geez,
Right,
man.
right.
I mean, nothing really comes to mind except for, it seems like the story is trying to tell us that Momo will become the shogun, and he'll claim his rightful place. I think that's a bunch of bullspit. I think he's gonna run off with the Straw Hats after this and be like, bye, Hiyori, you can take care of it, or, someone else can take care of it. Because...
That would be perfect for Odin's son,
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
Like, I'm gonna run away
Yeah.
from my responsibilities and let
Ooh.
someone else do it. So I will say that every single theory that I've had so far about Wano has been wrong. For
but I like this one.
For starters, I really thought that Reverie was going to be a full arc, and we were going to get to spend time there and see what happened.
Oh, you too?
weren't alone.
Yeah.
Oh, you too?
We didn't get any of that. I thought that the Straw Hats reunion was going to be, like, it was going to take up more time. And it makes sense that it didn't, because they're in the middle of doing something. But, like, I wanted to see, Zoro confronting Sanji about thinking he can abandon the crew. And I wanted the drama of it all. We haven't quite gotten that. So yeah, generally speaking, I like to theorize about One Piece, but I guess Oda is a better writer than me, so I'm often just way off base with where he's gonna go. I do
Can you
wonder...
say he's a writer, though?
I mean...
Because he's somewhere else when it comes to...
Would prophet be a better word?
Yes, something along those lines.
Creator, mangaka. But yeah, no, I do wonder, with 2 Yonkos having teamed up, is there any way at all Luffy can fight both of them? Or are we gonna have them, their alliance will melt down and they'll take each other out?
I really want to see Luffy try to square up towards both of them at the same time, because my favorite thing about covering One Piece week to week is to get to one chapter where it's been like 3 times now where we've joked, that's it, One Piece is over, he's dead, no more.
Oh my god.
So
I think my favorite one of that was and the whole community got in on it, but it was chapter 900 when the Thousand Sunny sinks, quote unquote, and it's it shows the Jolly Roger in the water, and everybody's like, One Piece is over, and there's all these photoshops of like manga covers where they photoshopped Luffy and the Straw Hats out, and it just says 2 piece.
Well, and the best part of that is that the original 4Kids dub ended with them dying. Like, they got crushed by the ship that fell from Skypiea. So, there's a precedent.
Yeah. I do have to say, on relation to theories and reveals and stuff, I really think that Oda gave us quite a few hints that maybe perhaps it was one of the minks, and that would have been really interesting.
That was the traitor.
That was what did I say?
You just said it was one of the minks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was hoping that the traitor could be one of the minks, just because that would be so interesting of the dichotomy of how long they held out saying Raizo isn't here, and then it turned out that he was. And so I was kind of thinking that maybe it would be one of them, but, the weird painter guy, I guess that makes sense too.
I was really into the theory that Carrot was the traitor. Not just for, the miscolored Beaver card and what could that mean?
Yeah.
Because we already have a cute animal type companion, and it's Chopper, and his thing is enough of that for me. I didn't need another one.
So it's a personal vendetta. You didn't think that it would fit the story. You're just like, get out of here, Carrot.
Yeah, well, and also, Oda doesn't have a lot of evil female characters that stay evil.
That's
or
true.
start out evil.
Oh.
So
I think the only one who's like barely keeping the streak going is like Alvida, and even then now she's part of Buggy's crew, so it's
she's
like,
a
okay,
gag, though.
you're not a villain, you're just a joke now.
and she's like in love with Luffy, yeah.
Yeah.
Big Mom even had like a stint of not being evil.
She did,
Yeah.
Oda
Oh my
can't do it, he can't help himself.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's
the true feminist paragon said no one ever.
said no one ever.
Oda, can we
my
have
goodness.
one female member of the Yonko, like a strong pirate? Sure thing, but I'm gonna give her a redemption arc. Oda, no!
Yeah,
not what we
no,
wanted.
stop! No,
Oh,
don't make her
gosh.
love her children. She can't love all 3,000 of them.
Oh man, I think my favorite Big Mom fact is somebody asked Oda, how does she have all of those children? Who would want to marry her? Where did she find all those husbands? And Oda responded, well, she's a pirate. She stole them. And I just love the idea of her carrying like a husband away on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Very,
oh my
very
god, yeah,
like,
that's
you're mine now. She has like very big hands, so she just grabs and takes away.
Well, but
Oh my God.
I thought it was canon, and this could be just my own headcanon. I thought she didn't leave Whole Cake Island, so is she sending out her sons and her daughters? Like, if you find someone that you want to kiss, just bring him to me first.
Oh.
I get first dibs. I have seniority.
Jesus Christ, I have seniority.
Oh no.
Wow, Smoothie, like this new guy you brought home is hot. He's mine now.
Whoa. What the fuck, Mom? What the hell? Every time.
I also, speaking of theories that were wrong, I thought Jinbei was dead. Like, I thought he wasn't coming
that was
back.
popular.
Mhm.
And, like-
so
Go ahead.
oh no, there was an interview with Oda, because right after the Whole Cake Island ended and Jinbei stayed behind, and Luffy was like, "You're part of my crew now." Everyone was like, "Well, but he's not with the crew, so like, when is he gonna join? We want to see our fishy boy." And somebody asked Oda, like, "Hey, like, he's officially part of the crew. Like, why aren't you drawing him as on the color stories, the color spreads?"
Mhm.
And Oda's answer was like verbatim, like, Jinbei is a part of the Straw Hats, but when he comes back, something is going to be physically different about him that I don't want to reveal in the color spreads. And this sent me and Franz down a fucking rabbit hole. Like, as excited as we were for his reveal, I think the episode ended with like, what's different about him? Like, is he?
Yeah.
Is he wearing different shoes? Like, what's
Yeah,
what's different about him? Why did he wait this long?
Yeah, and Joel, is it a eye patch that Oda is waiting to use for the right moment?
I believe that's what he said. Yeah,
So-
we haven't had a character with a traditional eye patch.
Where is Jinbei's eye patch if he was supposed to be different when he came back? I want my eye patch Jinbei.
God.
Oh, Jinbei was an eye patch would
It's gonna be
good.
some dumb gag of like Jinbei's they're about to set sail and he's like, oh wait, And he puts on an eye patch and like, what's that for? I don't know. I just thought it's sick. keep going, full sail.
Yeah,
The
I do
wind gets
think
in my one eye, so
I do think they brought him back at exactly the best time, because when else would the Straw Hats need a helmsman except when they're piloting their ship into doom?
the one
Yeah.
time they're having a ship-to-ship battle.
Certainly.
Oh my god, yeah. I think there was some quote with Oda. I think it was in like it was in the weekly, like every week they have the author comments.
Right.
And the past couple of comments from Oda have been so like wholesome and pure. Like one of them was like, "Oh my god, like it was before the whole Backstreet Boy reunion happened." And he was like, "Oh, like me and Horikoshi sensei are going out to grab a shiny Mewtwo in like Pokemon Go." And it's like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's so wholesome. I love that. Like, yes, I love this." And then one of them recently was like, "Oh, like, like my heart hurts. I just want the world to get better." And it's like, "Aw, like Oda." And then like the most recent one was like, "Man, I want to draw cool ship-to-ship battles, but all my characters could destroy ships in one hit."
Yes.
The true struggle of a shonen battle creator.
Yeah.
No, he's such a good bean though. Like his way months ago when he first started playing Pokemon Go, he talked about how he's been playing alone in his house for months and he just desperately wants a legendary, and that broke my heart. So reading about him and Horikoshi playing together like healed me.
Yeah, he was like so excited to go out and get the shiny Mewtwo with Horikoshi. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna go." Like the way he wrote it was like, "Oh, like we have plans. We're gonna go get the shiny Mewtwo." And it's like, oh my god, like yes.
Legends exists of an island in Animal Crossing New Horizons where all of the great mangaka gather together and trade pears
Yes.
and mangoes or whatever.
Hey,
gosh.
I mean, there's a story that's apparently real of a very small company in Tokyo, like the only place locked down in Japan right now. I'm gonna need a second. Even though we're in a state of national emergency, but Tokyo's the only place locked down. And there was like one small company who like straight up knew like everyone was going to be playing Animal Crossing, so they just held a meeting in Animal Crossing.
Amazing.
So I can just imagine like
Yes.
Jump editors just being like, "Hey Oda, you done?" And then Oda just fishing and being like,
Who now?
"Uh-huh."
The what?
I wrote the
newest
chapter. It's over there. This is the real reason everyone is on break this week. It had nothing to do with the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. It had everything
Yeah.
to do with the fact that they're all playing Animal Crossing.
See, there's a common misconception that the Japanese name of Animal Crossing New Horizons is Atsumara Dobutsu no Mori. Instead, it actually is, and beep here for the word.
Yeah, here for the word. It actually roughly translates to Cooperative Video 18+1. Weird, huh?
Bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, strange coincidence.
Oh man. Do you guys think? Sorry to jump back to Wano. Do you guys think
No.
the Marines are gonna show up soon?
Oh, I want
At
them.
some point, I want them to. See, me and Franz are big proponents, or maybe it's just me, and Franz is just like, yeah, I guess.
No, I like it. I like it. I do.
Okay.
I want it to happen.
Because Orochi, like, okay, I'm not gonna go into, but the giant shitbag that is Orochi was like, "Oh, bring me Vegapunk, doo kaka pee pee," and then like
I'm sorry,
He
that was
wa-
word for word.
he wanted Vegapunk, and I was like, hold on now, because Smoker and Tashigi are currently with Vegapunk, like trying to fix the kids from the big candy, and I think CP0 or somebody is gonna be like, fine, fuck it, just bring Vegapunk, like, make this fathead happy. So then I hope that Vegapunk is going to appear at some point in this arc and maybe play a role in the finale, but I hope that he brings Smoker and Tashigi,
Yes.
because
man.
I would like to see both of them interact with Luffy and Law in Wano again. Like,
I have been waiting to meet Vegapunk since the first time we heard his name, because that is the coolest name for a mad scientist I've ever heard. And
Yeah.
like we're
On
so
top
close.
of that, there's
so close.
there's
And
the
the
whole
thing about
of
Reverie,
Yeah.
oh my god, Reverie. But like,
where he was like, "Oh, like we don't need the Shichibukai because Vegapunk made something that makes them obsolete." And I'm like, "What the fuck did he make? Like, what kind of weapon, doomsday weapon, did he make?"
Kumas.
dude, ever since Frankie's his 3 days 2 year arc,
Oh,
ever
sure.
since that moment where he was in like Vegapunk's home island, I've been so desperate to know about this man, especially since Frankie just died. He set off a nuke and died.
That is the greatest panel I think Oda's ever drawn. Like, I go back to classic One Piece, and there's some real artistic pieces of, like, you know, in Drum Island, like the sleigh shooting up, and like behind it is the full moon, and it's all like, you know, black and white contrast. Like, man, Oda's a real artist. Or like some of the recent double page spreads we've gotten is like, man, he's so intricate. And then there's one of a nuke just going off, and like 50% opacity Frankie just giving a thumbs up in the sky.
Oh, that's beautiful. One of the things that I've decided to start doing is reading the chapters that go along with the episodes we're reviewing on the podcast.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm finally going to get to read a lot of the arcs that I've only seen in the anime, starting with Thriller Bark, which is a weird coincidence since that's where Joel started. But
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of Vegapunk, here's a question for you. Since he's a brainy kind of kid or guy, do you think he's going to be frail, or do you think he's going to be like some giant, like, beef stack of a man that can punch Garp into submission?
Ooh,
Well,
Ooh.
it's-
the duality of man.
it's Oda, so I'm expecting a beefy old guy.
Okay.
Like, Oda
Yeah,
has said that that's kind of a power fantasy for him, is being an old man who can still kick butt. So that's what I'm expecting. What do you guys
Garp
think?
is like his Garp, or like retiree Sengoku is like his author stand-in for himself, his self-insert character.
Yeah, there you go.
He just wants to be buff and also a golden Buddha and also own a goat. That's just what Oda wants.
That's the dream.
It really
Yeah.
is. I see my idea is basically like Senku, the main character of Dr. Stone,
Oh, yeah.
that but old is
Okay.
like
Oh,
what I've
yeah.
been thinking of with the whole like Einstein hair out and whatnot. But
Yeah, I'm thinking
what if
like
he's Master Roshi in that he's frail old man, but then he just
he has a buff mode.
Exactly.
He has a buff transformation.
buff juice. He's a scientist. He can make juice, buff juice.
He created the buff fruit.
Just for him. He specifically went out
Yeah,
of his
just for
way.
him. Like it would explain everything. He was trying to make the buff fruit, and he ended up accidentally making the dragon fruit that Momo ate. That was a quote unquote mistake, and he was just like, "Oh god damn it! It makes it a dragon. Like that's not what I wanted."
This won't give me
That
the sweet
sucks so
gains that I
much.
desire. So yeah, my
See-
thinking is that as a scientist, or as this guy who's always in the lab, he wouldn't have time to hit the gym. So it would make sense that he'd be frail or skinny
Mhm.
or not as strong. But also in One Piece, the greater your ambition, the greater your hockey, which usually has some bearing on your personality a little bit. So if
Yeah.
he is not super strong, I imagine that he'll have observation just like level 14. Like he can make Katakuri look,
Oh.
washed
Yeah.
out.
Maybe
Like,
that's why he can understand devil fruits and nobody else can.
Yeah, exactly.
Observation level microscope and also GPS.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I actually think Vegapunk is going to play a really big role in what's going down with Blackbeard, because Blackbeard is specifically collecting devil fruits, and he seems to be looking for something in particular.
Yeah,
Blackbeard could steal Vegapunk. And I guess this is the point now where we'll just pivot and be like, all right, what are your off the rocker, just like completely like self-indulgent theories?
Yeah.
Doffy will be an-
Self-indulgent. Just
What's the thing that you want to see most? Okay, my most definitely never going to happen is I'm hoping that Kuro and Captain Morgan from East Blue show up and do anything at all, like they're relevant in some way, because they have the cover story with Kuro where he was like, "Oh, I'm a peaceful man," but he's the man of 1,000 plans, so if he got beaten last time, he just needs to think harder and longer into the future, so maybe he's even better at strategizing now.
Kuro is Eam. We solved it.
You know the League of Evil X's from Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yes.
That, but with all of the One Piece villains that have been discarded. So Doffy and Kuro and Crocodile. They've all come together.
I thought you were going like that, but with all of Big Mom's past husbands, and they're gonna bust into the war in Wano.
Oh, that would be delightful.
You must defeat all of us, Kaido.
Pound never died. Pound is the leader.
Pound is the leader, and he has the eye patch.
I do have a favorite crack theory. And I bring it up all the time, but it's so good and ridiculous that I have to bring it up again. And that's the Crocodile is Luffy's mom theory.
Oh, dude. So, like, okay, this whole crack theory business, that is, like, basically I would say, like, the inception, the seed that was planted.
The original shitpost.
Eventually roll this shitpost long enough and large enough into, like, us recording the podcast, because we would read it every week. And every time we would, like, read comments online or, like, watch YouTube videos and be like, did you see this dumbass theory? Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever read. And then just constantly joking about that ended up creating this. And that is one of the ones that is so outlandish that I'm like, you know what? Maybe. I don't know anymore. Like,
I want it. I truly want it.
I want it.
Because
man,
it's the question that we've never had an answer to. Like,
yeah, what is Crocodile's secret? We need to know.
Luffy's mom.
Or that too. Well, yeah, that too.
Which of those two secrets?
Well,
right,
yeah, but both of the secrets in equal measure.
I genuinely believe that Luffy's mom could be someone important, but I don't think Oda is the type of mangaka to do that. Like, I don't think she'll ever actually come up. Which is a bummer, because who created this boy?
We know the answer to that. It's Sabo and Dodon and Ace created this boy.
My actual theory for someone who could be Luffy's mom is Olvia, Robin's mom.
Oh
shit.
That's not that out there. Like,
hold up.
There's some precedent. You have brought us a bounty.
Now, my only question is, shouldn't Luffy have more brain cells if that were the case? Or did he just simply get dropped on his head too often?
It's bold of you to assume Dragon has any brain cells.
There is a trade-off. There was 2 children born from this woman, and one of them had to get all of the brain cells.
There you go, okay.
Exactly.
But if you think about it, like, you know how, like,
Luffy
Robin's
was
got
given
the whole,
one.
like, the like, cool, like, you know, persona and whatnot, but in her brain, she's, like, very aloof.
Yeah.
Luffy's also aloof in very similar ways.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, all of Robin's goofery is internal, but it's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she has the same kind of thoughts that Luffy does about, like, what if we all fell off the boat right now? He says them out loud and laughs about them, and she just, like, is very serious, but it's there.
Yeah.
One could say Luffy is intelligent, but only inside his brain.
There you go.
I think the thing that triggered that theory for me was we were rewatching Robin's backstory arc, and there's a line from Olvia about how she had to, like, finish what her husband started, or something like that. Joel, do you remember?
Right.
It was exactly that, I think, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Huh.
See, I'm, like, slowly approaching. I'm doing, like, the world's slowest read-through of One Piece, the manga, and I'm slowly getting to, like, where they actually get to Ine's lobby in that backstory.
Oh yeah.
So I'm almost there, but that is interesting.
You have to check back in with us. Well, and not to plug people who aren't our own podcast, but Joy Boy had a theory where he was talking about is it possible that Roger had multiple children? And he went on to speculate that maybe Robin was Roger's son, which would obviously exclude her from being Luffy's brother in that, or Luffy's sister in that case. But
Yeah,
I think that's kind of interesting.
But that would be interesting. Like, 'cause
oh,
it's
There's
funny.
just
We
so
got
much
so much
mystery.
information from this like Gold Roger and Odin flashback,
Mhm.
and then Oda was like, "Yeah, no, here's way more questions than answers now," and it's like, "Oh, come on, dude."
Yeah. He didn't really answer anything for us.
I'll finally answer that question you've had, but I'll give you 3 more questions that are even bigger and have greater implications.
I
Yeah.
also think that Ivankov is one of Frankie's parents.
Oh my
that
god,
makes
that would be.
sense.
Right? Same
Like, that would
color
be
hair,
great.
same outlandish personality, both thought of as
Yeah.
perverts by the people around them.
Both kind
just-
of actually perverts, but in a way that it's okay.
Yeah, they're not
In an
hurting anybody.
endearing perverts.
Yes, yes.
Socially
yes.
acceptable perversion.
yeah, the only acceptable pervert, Frankie.
Oh man, that
That is,
You know-
that is like, see,
Pirates-
I'm getting a Jimmy Neutron brain blast right now. Like, these are things that I'm like, wait a minute, I've never thought of these. And like the presentation of it is, yeah, haha, joke, but what if?
For sure, yeah. It's
Exactly.
that, what if, just kidding, unless.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
It
moment
really is.
Oda made Sanji's parents and backstory plotchily important was the moment that
my God.
everybody's parents could be important.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
know you're
Oh,
getting
man.
some hints as to whether Zoro, or this speculation rather, whether Zoro is related to Ryuma and that sort of thing, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
oh,
I
the
think,
whole
um,
Wano thing. Yeah.
In the latest, I have to read it, in the latest SBS, like, for the newest volume that came out in Japan, 96, I think, I believe Oda confirmed it, that he's at least related to that Shimotsuki clan. And
Yes.
he is related in some way to
Yeah.
Ryuma and the Shimotsuki guy that was, we only saw his shadow, but he was in the that snow place. They like kept oh my god, I'm getting like a brain fart. I can't remember his name. Shimotsuki was his family name, but they kept saying like, oh, the Shimotsuki guy that lived here defended the swords with his the fox.
Yes, exactly. And the fact
Yeah.
that we didn't actually see them on screen or whatever could be part of it. And I've long believed that his sword teacher was from Wano, and since
Oh,
Zoro's on
yeah.
that same island, he probably was from another family that migrated. But we'll just have
Yeah.
to see how Oda handles it.
Yeah. Oda's like has basically confirmed all the stuff in like SBS's, but I just want to have like a couple of chapters or something with just an explanation. Just lay it out and be like, here it is. Here's what happened.
In plain
There's so much
English.
stuff with Zoro. For the longest time, I've been telling people like, for the longest time, everybody online, I kept reading like, oh, like Wano is gonna be Zoro's arc, and like. I understood what they were saying, but like the only thought process behind it from when people would say that was like Zoro sword, Wano sword, Wano Zoro, and it's like, no, this is dumb. There has to be something deeper than this. And for the longest time, I was against it because I was like, look, can't Zoro just be some schmuck from the East Blue that's just really good at swords? Can't it just be as shallow as that? Like, I like that. But now that we're getting more information, I'm like, oh, now I like this. I thought I didn't like it, but I do now.
Perfect. I will, going back to theories though, and lineage and stuff, they had, Kaido was asking for his son in this last chapter, and some people are speculating, is it, King or Jack or Queen or something? But
Oh, we
I
had a
think-
big talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to it, but I'm just gonna throw my hat in the ring for it. It would make sense if it was Weevil, because we know that Lin Lin and Whitebeard and Kaido were all in the same crew, and we know she tells her son Weevil, that woman who travels with him, oh yeah, I was on the same crew as them, and that's when I conceived you, so obviously your father is Whitebeard. But he has this ridiculous strength, which makes more sense for Kaido, who was probably born that way.
What?
Oh, that's
It
true.
was
that's
really
true.
funny because I seriously open up our discussion by saying that like the first thought in my brain was like Weevil,
Okay.
but I dismissed it immediately because like, oh, like it was just, he was Whitebeard's kid, not Kaido's kid. And I was like, I just dismissed it like outright. But
Ever since Weevil's shown up, I've been rubbing my chin going, okay, what's going to happen here? Because I don't believe for a
Right.
second he's Whitebeard's son, so how can it be subverted? Oh, he's the son of another incredibly scary, strong thing.
you're
Well,
right.
and it's
Yeah.
interesting too because Kaido asking for his son in this chapter when it hasn't come up before that he had a son indicates to me that it's somebody that we have already seen in Wano. Because otherwise, like, why would it suddenly be coming to Kaido's mind if they were off somewhere
I've
else
seen
in the
some
sea?
people suggest that he only remembers he has a son when he's incredibly drunk, like at a party like this, and like the son could be dead. And he's like, "Where's my son?" They're like, "Oh, he's coming any minute." No one let him know that his son is dead.
Oh, that's so sad.
And then
I've
he and
heard
Big
that.
Mom
Oh my
would both
God,
have
yeah.
like triggers that you're not allowed to tell them. Like, "Hey, Big Mom, you ate your mom." What? Hey, Kaido, your son's dead. What?
I also really like the crack theory that Alvida is the child of Kaido and Big Mom.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
That is a perfect theory.
See,
'Cause
all of the Big Mom children theories are like fantastic. Sorry, go ahead.
Alvida
It's
has
just
the
lovely.
big spiky club like Kaido, and she looked like Big Mom before she ate her devil fruit.
exactly.
I mean, it all checks out. I'm looking at it here.
I'm looking at the
Everything checks
notes.
out. Yeah.
At the
See,
same time, though,
I-
Big Mom's the woman who hated. Crap, I get the twins mixed up, but she hated one of the twins, Chiffon, for staying
Lola.
behind because Lola
Yeah,
left.
she's
Oh.
like,
And so why
Yeah.
why would Alvida, a child of hers, end up in the East Blue without any kind of like,
Reason.
you know, or like Big Mom bringing her back, you know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
I'm just imagining like a random deleted scene with Alvida like talking to Luffy like, hey, if you ever need help in the new world, here's a Vivre card, kid. What's a Vivre card?
Oh my god.
Oh man, I can't believe Alvida still lets Buggy be in charge of that crew at all. Honestly,
I absolutely love it. My theory for this stupid crack theory I have that I hope comes true is that it's so dumb and there's like no payoff to it, but I just want to see it. When they introduced the what is it, the crownless throne or whatever it is,
Oh,
the
yeah.
empty throne.
The empty throne.
In Reverie, when it's like, oh, no one's allowed to sit in here, and then they reveal that like Eam sits there or whatever. The world at large thinks that it's like, you know, empty all the time, and I just want a scene with either Buggy or Usopp. I think it would be better with Buggy. Just like somehow he's in the final fight and he's like tired and he goes to take a seat. And he just so happens to accidentally take a breather on the empty throne, and like the entire world is like watching, and they're like, "Oh my god, like Buggy!"
That is excellent. I've long held the belief that Buggy's going to come back because why else would he keep popping up in all these different places? But I also
Yeah.
can't believe he would do anything useful. Like, he barely did anything against Minotaurs, let alone on the grand stage. So I assume he'll be
Yeah.
like on top of a cliff and a bomb will go off and he'll fall off the cliff. And he'll land on, like, say, like Kaido right before he's about to kill Luffy, and it distracts him just long enough for Luffy to get away. That's what I think Buggy's gonna do.
yeah, there's another
Oh my
crack
God.
theory for you though. Buggy D Clown, not Buggy the
Yeah,
Clown.
Oh, I love the Will of D memes. Like all of they're so great.
the
Um,
most like flagrant one we've done was a pound, and then but like we needed something afterwards, so John like very like, said pound D pussy, and it was like
No.
Jesus Christ.
It
Oh
was-
no!
I remember we were like, Pound, like he's got the Will of D, like Pound D, and we needed a last name, and then all I can remember is like I imagine eyes rolling back and then coming back to reality and just coming out with it swinging. Like, no, it's this.
This is the word I've chosen to commit to.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that your mind didn't go to cake, because pound cake is a very real thing.
Oh my god.
And we were in the whole cake arc, but no, like it was
No. A title for a character for a father as great as him needs a title to not match at all, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's great. We had a
but
friend.
Buggy D Clown is my one of my all-time favorites.
We had a friend in college who pointed out that Buggy and Luffy are like polar opposites. Like Buggy can only be hurt by pounding attacks, but not slicing attacks, and Luffy can only be hurt by slicing attacks, but not pounding attacks. And they both started in the East Blue, and this, that, and the other thing. And so it really felt like Oda was setting Buggy up as a rival, but also he's not a rival character at all.
Because their goals are so separate, and it's like very interesting that they are. Because it's like, you know, Luffy's like, the One Piece, Gold D. Roger, haha, this and that.
Yeah.
Whereas Buggy's like, yeah, fuck that. Captain John?
Yeah,
Treasure.
Captain John, anybody? Anybody want some gold doubloons?
Oh, that is another thing. Now that we know that Captain John, I mean, he was involved in the Thriller Bark, right? Because I think his zombie was there, and we know he was part of Rocks, but maybe that's another way Buggy could come back and be relevant, is if they re-zombify Captain John a second time. Buggy's the one who has to fight him.
Yeah, and I think that might be no meme, no crack theory. I think that might be something that Oda's like working towards, because it all started when they introduced the Rocks pirates, and they were like, "Oh, it's Rocks D Zebek," and I'm like, "That's a weird name. That part of it sounds oddly familiar." And it was in one of the freaking Vivre cards. Like, the name of Blackbeard's ship is the Saber of Zebek.
Yep.
Oh,
And
for real?
just that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that connection alone, I was like, all right, so here's the theory, guys. Like, Blackbeard knows whatever taboo knowledge that Zebek knew, Rocks knew, and he's trying to get all these fruits for some plan that I assume Rocks could never complete. And so, like, at the end of the series, like, you know, that's his end game. Like, he's working he's fulfilling
The will of Zebek.
Yeah, he's fulfilling the will of Zebek. Like, instead of the will of Roger being passed down to him, like, the will of Rocks was passed down to him, and that's what he's trying to complete.
That's cool. I think it was Tekking, but it might have been Joy Boy, but one of them pointed out that we have Blackbeard, who's a very different D from all of the other Ds, and now we have this guy, Rocks. And so they think that there was a black sheep in the D clan, and that Blackbeard's line is descended from those evil Ds.
Well, and that's only further reinforced by the Korazumis, I think, is whichever one Ass Face is from. Yes.
Yeah. I believe his correct canonical name is Fathead Doodoo Kaka Peepee.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that could be foreshadowing.
Kurozumi clan.
Okay, thank you.
Was very like separate and whatnot. So there's some parallels there. There's a lot they're working with.
Yeah, I can see it. That's what, because especially now, like, when you said that, it made me think, when you said Captain John could, like, be re-zombified, because, what's his face from Thriller Bark?
Yeah, Moria and Absalom.
Moria has just, like,
Mm-hmm.
Moria has, like, just joined the Blackbeard Pirates, so it's like, okay, well, joined in quotations, he's kind of forced into it, I guess,
Yeah.
but...
Did we see...
He was, like, surrounded by them on their island, and he was like, you could join me, or you could die. So I don't know how much of a choice that was.
I was gonna ask, did we see whether he died or chose to join them?
But at the same time, we know Moria is a lazy coward, so he's probably going to go the I'll join you route. And then he could join the group of former enemies that have befriended Luffy along the way. And the final battle can have all of the Shichibukai and Eneru for some reason on Team Straw Hats.
How is Eneru gonna get
my
there
God.
when he's on the moon?
He comes
Oh
back
my
from
God.
space. The moons. The One Piece is actually the halo. The halo is the life seed.
Oh,
And
God.
oh boy,
I
we are-
legitimately
Jesus
think
Christ.
the Celestial Dragons are aliens. They wear
Yeah,
spacesuits, and we have evidence from a cover story with Eneru that there was life on the moon.
Yeah, there's, like, life in space, life on the moon, and, like, those... Oh my God, I don't know if you guys... Okay, hold on. You might know this, or I might blow your minds. On one of the Eneru story...
Like the cover stories? Yeah.
Cover stories. Yeah, there's one where he's, like, tilting his head, and he's looking at the cave painting that they have on the moon of, like, the weird people, the weird little aliens in their spaceship. And I went back to this when we were talking about Reverie, because the big hat like broke us. The big hat.
Oh God.
Just completely broke us. We were like, what does it all mean? What does the big hat mean? But in that cover story, it always struck me as odd. Like, why is he like tilting his head? Like, I thought it was just Oda, like, oh, like, it's cool to draw Eneru. Like, he's got big ass traps. Oda was just like, it's cool to draw him tilting. Like, he looks sick. But that drawing, like the little spaceship they're on, if you look at it upside down, it's a straw hat. Like, it's the same shape, and it has the band around it.
No.
Yes, actually.
No.
You've just blown my mind wide open.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like, I don't know. Again, Big Hat has broken me. I am at the knees of Big Hat, like at the feet of Big Hat, on my knees. Just please end my suffering.
Every time you say Big Hat, my brain just goes, Big Hat Morgan? That's a different character.
Big Hat Morgan.
Where does he come in? Huh?
Oh my God.
He controls the news. He's gonna rewrite the narratives around Wano to make it sound like, I don't know, the Marines opened the country.
Oh my goodness. I
There's
will say,
so
I love
much.
Big News Morgan's, like, they introduced him and I'm like, oh, he's cool. And then, like, in some random SBS, Oda was like, yeah, Big News Morgan's is a human who ate the albatross fruit, but he just likes being a bird so much that he never goes into his human form. And it's like, that's sick, I guess. Like,
What a mood, though. Honestly.
I mean, if I could be half T-Rex at all times, why would I ever be in my human body?
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, looking
I think
at you,
the only
Drake.
time, the only time if that was the position I was in, the only time I would revert would be if Sanji was, like Ryder kicking me to death, like he did to Page One.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Or to fit through hallways, maybe. Like, oh, I can't quite fit.
Speaking of Sanji,
Oh,
how did you guys feel about him just using the raid suit, like a couple chapters after being like, I'm never going to use this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a Sanji fanboy. I love Sanji. I think it's the question of like, oh, Sanji or Zoro, who's your favorite? I'm the Sanji
Very nice.
guy. I like Zoro, but Sanji's just.
I'm pro
He's got the
Sanji all the
suit,
way
he's
as
got,
well.
he's got the swag. I don't know. He's
He's
got the
Mr.
suit.
Prince.
He's smoking lollipops. Yeah, Mr. Prince. Brooklyn accent. But at first I was like, man, this is kind of dumb. Like, he literally just said like he didn't want to use it. Now he's using it. But I don't know. After going back and rereading it and like rewatching it, I do really like the kind of like speech he gives beforehand. Because he's just kind of like. I think he says something along the lines of like, oh, like we're in Yonko territory now, so I can't, I can't be holding everybody back. We're in Yonko territory. And then he says something along the lines of like, even though it comes from my family, like I'll never be like them. Like I won't let this control me. I will control it. Something, He
Yeah.
doesn't say verbatim that, but something along those lines. And I was like, okay, like if I'm looking at it through that sense, I like that. Like, I like him trying to take back, his sort of...
Yeah,
like,
use his
reclaim
family's heritage and see if he can make something positive of it, for example.
Yeah. Trying to reclaim, reclaim his abuse in a way and trying to, like, redirect it to something positive. I was like, okay, Sanji, like, I like that.
Yeah.
You had me in the first half.
Well, and I think that Oda has really been lately kind of rushing, even though some people would say that these final arcs are getting really long. I think that in some places he is just kind of cutting so that he can get to the end a little bit faster, so it doesn't take him another 20 years. And so, like, that
Yeah.
one and, like, his beef with maybe Zoro that Kat alluded to that I kind of thought was going to happen, they get cut out, and I think some critics are saying, oh, this story is bad. And I think that if you just look at like the intention of Oda, I can get behind it. I think it's
Yeah.
weird that
Yeah.
he put it on, like literally a couple of chapters after the speech, but I understand why he did it.
It didn't bother me
Yeah.
to see him take it. Because as soon as it appeared in the manga, I was like, well, somebody's gonna wear that. But I wanted Usopp to be the one to put it on.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see Raid Suit Usopp. But
Yeah.
the scene with his speech, like you guys were saying, was very cool, and just the way they animated his transformation in the anime was so
beautiful.
good.
Beautiful.
We recently got into Super Sentai. We'd never watched it before, and
Oh my
yes.
God,
now
yes.
that we have that appreciation, it's made the Germa so much better.
Yes, I love it. I think there was one episode. I know you guys have been watching Kira Major. I think as it's been going on.
Yes.
Or am I mistaken?
Nope, that's right.
Okay, no, okay. So I didn't want to sound like an ignorant fool. Excuse me. No. But no, yeah. I Kira Major was cool. I recently just watched all of I'm watching Kamen Rider 01 right now. Like I'm keeping up with that weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But I recently watched Ryu Soldiers, the one before Kira Major.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And Sentai's cool, man. I don't know what else.
Sentai is cool. A lot.
yeah.
I was trying to figure out which Sentai season we were gonna watch next after we finished Tokyuger, which is going to hold a special place in my heart forever. And a lot of people were dumping on Real Soldier. Is that how you say it?
I think Ryu Soldier. That's how the opening guy screams it in the song.
But
Ryu Soldier.
it's got dinosaurs, right? So
yeah,
I feel like
it's
I have to watch
dinosaurs
it.
and knights. It's cool.
Yeah.
There was only one episode that like just left a sour taste in my mouth. Everything else was like enjoyable. Like by the end it picked up and I was like, okay, it's cool. There's just one episode where like, I mean, I won't spoil like anything major, but like they spend the whole episode talking about like the main character's going through something and the girl that he's grown up with is like trying to help him in the episode. And then like she gets like in danger and then the main character comes to the realization and you're like, yes, like they're gonna come to the realization that like, you know, she's my friend and she helped me all the time. And he turns to the Blue Ranger, which is not the girl that he grew up with, and he's like, and the Blue Ranger hasn't been in the episode like at all. And he's like, you have helped me out so much all over the years. And I was just like, what are you doing?
Oh no, that's so funny though. But no, Oda,
Yeah.
Oda in general seems to bring a lot of cultural inspiration into One Piece. And so the more movies we watch and the more we get into Sentai and this thing and that thing, I feel like it makes our appreciation for One Piece so much stronger because we can see all the little references he put in that we never got
for
before.
sure. I
One
loved
Piece, beautiful
Grant's
that
on
way.
yeah, it's a cultural icon, dude. Grant's ongoing Twitter thread. He's almost caught up, by the way.
I know.
Grant the Thief on Twitter. When he got to Whole Cake and he read the chapters with the Germo, like the transformations and stuff, I was like, oh my god, like he was going bonkers, and so was I. I was like, yeah.
I immediately had to send him a picture of the Germa in color from the anime because
oh my god,
it makes
yeah.
them even better than they already are.
For
It's
sure. I literally
perfect.
don't know the personalities of Sanji's brothers except the green one, the blue one, and the red one.
And obviously the red
Yeah.
one is your favorite.
Obviously the red one's my favorite. He also has the best
It's
hair.
like
It's a classic.
the red one, the leader with lasers. The blue one, the cool one with lightning. The green one.
With
What's a winch?
something. the pink one with the power to give the suck? No.
Yeah, no, that's not quite right.
It's a classic Sentai power. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Exactly.
Kirby is pink and Kirby sucks. He doesn't get flack for being sexist.
Hey,
Kirby also
That's
is
true.
a genderless blob, so I think that
Evens things out.
plays into it. Oh man.
all right. We are over time, but it's been an amazing time having y'all here, especially like recounting all these wild theories. One Piece truly is an amazing thing. Do y'all have one last hill to die on?
Doflamingo
we
is
close up?
joining, not the crew, but he's going to be in that final battle and he's going to be Team Luffy. He's going to break out and he's going to be like, listen, Strat, you fucked up my birdcage.
Oh.
You ruined my scheme. But listen, I want to see the world burn and you're currently the one holding the match, so I guess I'll help.
I'm gonna do one better. Doflamingo and Crocodile are gonna be there, and they're gonna kiss.
You're not going to
Yes.
kiss. There's no way
Oh,
Oda would
yes.
ever put that in there.
There's it was last week was the Jinbei chapter. It ended with like Kaido was like, "Oh, where's my son?" And then they were like, "Bring in the Toby Roppo," and all we see is their wiki feet profile pictures. And one guy just has gold belt buckles, and instantly no other information. I was like, what if that's Crocodile? What if randomly he's just like, yeah, I've been part of Kaido's crew, you know, we go way back, you know what I'm saying?
That thing in Alabasta that was me trying to go solo didn't work out, so I came back.
Thank you guys so much for having us on. It was a really great time, and we are happy to come back anytime you want.
Yeah, it doesn't have to even be like a global situation, you know? You just let us know.
For sure. Yeah, no. Well, this has been great. We'll keep in touch. Please plug yourselves.
I'm gonna call this episode part 1.
Yeah.
You know what? Absolutely. The best way that folks can keep in touch with myself, Joel of the King of the What Now podcast, is on Twitter at KOTWN_pod. And then if you like One Piece content, you don't care who the creators giving it to you are. You just want more content. King of the What Now on iTunes, Spotify, all
Google
the places.
Music. And my Twitter @ is Pirate Ghost Host. And I also am on the King of the What Now podcast. That's probably obvious. But
what?
We have a really great time. We are about to start covering Thriller Bark, and I will be tweeting my read-through of those manga chapters as well. So join us.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's an overall great time. We cannot suggest them more. Like, please show them some love. On our side, oh, dang, the whole spiel. You can follow us on social media at Paramecia Cast on Twitter, Paramecia Fancast, literally everywhere else. Please check out our YouTube. Our episodes go on there when you want to listen to the podcast at work, even though you're not supposed to be at work. Cough, cough. Or our second YouTube channel, Paramecia TV, where John and I, whenever we feel the motivation to, will upload very not One Piece stuff onto there. You can also join us on our Discord. Our server is the Paramecia Flower Capital. Our link is everywhere. Look under your seat.
Every description. Oh, behind your ear. You found it.
You get a
the link's
Discord
right
link.
there.
You get a Discord link.
Exactly. And fuck. What am I missing?
Oh my
Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, other stuff. You get it.
Does Oprah have a podcatcher? Oprah's podcatcher.
Dr. Phil's podcatcher. That's chaotic.
Not Dr. Oz. And he knows why.
He knows.